Something is wrong. At least, that is what it feels like. You look at your life right now, really look at it, and something does not add up. The path you thought you were on has gone blurry. The plan you had for yourself is not unfolding the way it was supposed to. The doors you expected to open are closed. The timeline you set for yourself has passed. The version of your life that was supposed to exist by now does not exist. And in the quiet moments, in the space between the business and the noise, when you are alone with your thoughts and you cannot run from the questions anymore, you wonder, am I lost? Did I miss it? Did I take a wrong turn somewhere? Did I make choices that cannot be undone? Is this it? Is this as far as I get? Is the life I was supposed to live already slipping past me while I stand here trying to figure out what happened? I need you to stop right now before you take one more step in the direction of that fear. I need you to hear something. You are not lost. You have never been lost. What feels like wandering is walking. What feels like confusion is transition. What feels like being forgotten is being prepared. What feels like the absence of a plan is actually the execution of one so precise, so detailed, so perfectly calibrated to who you are and what you are capable of, that your human mind cannot yet see the full shape of it. You are not lost, you are being prepared. And by the time this is over, you will never look at the season you are in the same way again. Let me start with a question that I want you to sit with. What is the difference between being lost and being in a place you have never been before? Think about that carefully. When you are genuinely lost, there is no destination. There is no purpose to the wandering. There is no intelligence guiding the movement. It is random, directionless, without meaning or end point. But when you are being prepared, every step has a destination, even if you cannot see it. Every turn serves a purpose, even if you do not understand it yet. Every detour, every delay, every season that feels like nothing is happening is a deliberate, intentional, perfectly timed part of a process that is moving you towards something. The two experiences can feel identical from the inside. That is the cruelty of the preparation season. It feels exactly like being lost. It has the same texture, the same emotional weight, the same disorientation, but they are fundamentally different. The one has no destination. The other has a destination you cannot yet see. And I need you to know with everything in me, I need you to know that you are in the second one. There is a destination. There is a purpose. There is an intelligence at work in your life that has never once been confused about where you are going, even when you have been completely convinced that nobody knows. God has not lost track of you. He cannot lose track of you. You are not wandering. You are being walked. I want to take you into one of the oldest and most profound stories ever told. Not because it is a religious story, although it is, but because it is a human story. A story about what it feels like to be in the middle of a preparation season so long and so dark that destination seems like a hallucination. Joseph was a young man with extraordinary gifts. He could dream, not just in the ordinary sense. He could dream in the prophetic sense. He could see things that had not yet happened. He carried something inside him that was genuinely unusual, genuinely significant, genuinely destined for something enormous. And his life proceeded to fall apart. His own brothers threw him into a pit. They sat down and ate lunch while he cried out from the darkness below them. And then they sold him to strangers as a slave. They took him from his home, from his father, from everything familiar, and they handed him over to people who saw him not as a person but as property. Can you imagine the darkness of that pit? Not just the physical darkness, the darkness of the betrayal, of looking up from the bottom of that hole and seeing the faces of your own brothers looking down at you without compassion. And here is what I need you to notice. Joseph did nothing wrong to end up in that pit. He did not sin his way there. He did not make a catastrophic mistake. He ended up in that pit because he was exactly who he was supposed to be, gifted, called, set apart, and the world around him was not yet ready for that. The pit was not punishment. The pit was the beginning of the preparation. Because here is what the pit did. The pit stripped Joseph of every external support. His father, his brothers, his home, his comfort, his safety, his familiar world, all of it gone. And what was left was just Joseph, just his gifts, just his character. Just the thing that God had placed inside him that could not be taken away no matter what was taken from around him. The pit did not break Joseph. The pit revealed what was unbreakable in Joseph, and from the pit he was taken to Egypt as a slave. And in Egypt he worked faithfully and was given responsibility and built something real. And then he was falsely accused and thrown into prison. After the pit, after slavery, wave after wave of setback and loss and injustice. And this is the part that gets me every time, because the text says something remarkable. In the middle of all of this, in the prison, in the darkness, in the place where it seemed like everything had gone irreversibly wrong, the text says that God was with Joseph. Not that God rescued Joseph immediately, not that God explained what was happening, just that God was with him. In the darkness, in the waiting, in the preparation. And eventually, after years in the pit, years in slavery, years in prison, a door opened. One conversation, one moment of Joseph's gift being exactly what someone needed in exactly the right moment. And within what felt like a blink after years of nothing, Joseph was standing before Pharaoh. And everything Joseph had been prepared for, every skill built in slavery, every character forged in prison, every dream interpreted in darkness, it all converged in one moment for one purpose. And Joseph became the second most powerful man in Egypt, not despite everything he went through. Because of it, every single thing that looked like a detour was actually a direct route. Every single thing that looked like a setback was actually a setup. Every single thing that felt like God had forgotten him was actually God preparing him quietly, invisibly, precisely for the exact assignment he was always meant to carry. That is your story too. I do not know the specifics of what your pit looks like. I do not know what you have lost or what has been taken from you, or how many times you have been knocked down just when you thought you were getting back up. But I know the pattern, and the pattern does not lie. You are not lost. You are being prepared. Now I want to talk about something that I know is sitting heavy on you right now, the timeline. Because one of the most agonizing parts of the preparation season is not just the uncertainty of not knowing where you are going. It is the specific, grinding, daily pain of watching time pass. Of looking at the calendar and feeling like you are running out of time. Of looking at other people your age and seeing them in places you thought you would be by now. I need to speak to that fear directly and honestly. The concept of being too late is a human concept, not a divine one. We invented timelines. We invented the idea that by age 25 you should have this, by 30 you should have that, by 40 your life should look like this particular shape. We created those timelines. They came from comparison and culture and the collective anxiety of a species that knows it is mortal. God did not create those timelines, and God is not bound by them. Moses was 80 years old when he stood before Pharaoh. 40 years of palace preparation, 40 years of desert preparation, 80 years of being made ready for a mission that would reshape the entire trajectory of human history. If Moses had lived in our culture, people would have told him at 60, you missed it. At 70, it is too late. At 79, just accept where you are. And then at 80, a burning bush, a voice, a calling, an assignment so enormous that it would reshape human history. Abraham was 75 when God called him to leave everything familiar. He was 100 years old when the son of the promise was born. 100. The promise was given. And then 25 years of preparation passed before the promise was fulfilled. I am not telling you this to say your preparation will last 40 years. I am telling you this to demolish the lie that says you are running out of time. To demolish the lie that the delay is evidence of abandonment. To demolish the lie that the timeline you invented for yourself is the timeline God is working on. He is working on a different timeline, a better one, a more precise one. And it is moving forward exactly as it should. Let me talk about something that gets overlooked when people talk about preparation. The preparation is not just about the destination. It is about you, about who you need to become in order to carry what you are being sent to carry. The version of you that exists right now, the you that has been through what you have been through, that has survived what you have survived, is not the same as the version that existed 5 years ago. You have been changed, shaped, refined, strengthened in places that used to be weak, made wise in areas where you used to be naive, made compassionate by your own wounds, made discerning by your own experiences of being deceived, made humble by your own failures, made bold by surviving things you were certain would destroy you. The preparation has not just been keeping you busy while you wait. The preparation has been building the specific version of you that is capable of carrying the specific calling that is waiting for you. And the terrifying, beautiful, humbling truth is this: if the door had opened a year ago, you would not have been ready to walk through it. If the opportunity had come before the preparation was complete, you would have stepped into it with insufficient equipment. The delay protected you. The wait was mercy. The preparation was the gift that the impatient part of you was calling punishment. I want to talk about the specific feelings that come with the preparation season. There is the feeling of invisibility. When you are in a preparation season, it can feel like you have become invisible, like the world is moving and happening and producing all around you, and you are standing still in the middle of it, unseen and uncelebrated. Like your story is not being told because nothing is happening worth telling. But hiddenness is not the same as being forgotten. A seed in the ground is hidden. You cannot see it from the surface. Nothing appears to be happening. But underneath, everything is happening. The root system is developing. The structure is being built. The foundation that will support everything that is going to emerge is being laid in the dark, in the silence, in the hiddenness. What looks invisible to the world is the most important work of the season. There is also the feeling of purposelessness. When the path is unclear and the calling feels distant, and the days pass without obvious progress toward anything that matters, it is very easy to start to feel like your existence right now is without purpose. That feeling is a lie. Your life right now is not a placeholder. Every single day of the preparation is purposeful. Every relationship you are in right now is teaching you something. Every difficulty you are navigating right now is developing something in you. Every quiet, ordinary, seemingly unremarkable day is contributing something to the person you are becoming. Nothing is wasted. Not one day, not one conversation, not one experience, not one broken thing, not one loss, not one closed door, not one season of confusion or grief. Nothing. God does not waste anything, especially not the things that hurt the most. And there is the feeling of doubt. The preparation season is where faith gets tested most severely, because faith is easy when things are moving and doors are opening and the evidence of progress is visible. Faith is much harder when nothing is moving and the only evidence you have is a quiet, persistent, sometimes wavering feeling that this is not the end. That faith is being built in you right now. The faith that holds on in the dark ones. The faith that says, I do not understand what is happening, but I trust the one who does. The faith that keeps walking forward even when there is no visible path. That faith, that specific, tested, fire-hardened faith, is something you are going to need on the other side of this season in ways you cannot yet imagine. Now I want to talk about what to do while you are being prepared. The first thing is to stop treating this season like a sentence and start treating it like a school. There is a version of you that wakes up every morning and says, how long is this going to last? When is it going to be over? And that version of you is suffering, because every day that passes without visible progress feels like a punishment being extended. But there is another version of you that wakes up every morning and says, what is this day trying to teach me? What is this difficulty trying to develop in me? That version of you is not just surviving the preparation season. That version of you is using it. Treat every day of this season as curriculum, not because the suffering is enjoyable, but because the lessons available in this season are ones that cannot be learned anywhere else. They can only be learned here. The second thing is to stop comparing your chapter to someone else's chapter. When you are in a preparation season and you look at someone else's achievements and compare that to your own invisible, apparently going nowhere season, you are making a comparison that is not just unfair, it is factually inaccurate. You are comparing your behind the scenes to their on stage. You are comparing your chapter 4 to their chapter 14. Your path is yours, your timeline is yours, your preparation is specifically, intentionally designed for the specific calling that only you can fulfill. Stop measuring your preparation against theirs. The third thing is to take care of yourself in the waiting. The preparation season is hard on the body, the mind, the emotions. And if you do not intentionally tend to yourself in the waiting, you will emerge from the preparation season depleted, barely functional, and the calling that was always meant to be full of life and impact will start from a place of emptiness. Take care of yourself, sleep, eat, move your body, rest without guilt. Let yourself feel the hard feelings instead of pushing them down. Talk to someone if the weight is getting too heavy to carry alone. You are not being selfish by taking care of yourself in the waiting. You are being wise. The fourth thing is to stay connected to the source. The preparation season is the season where the temptation to disconnect from God is the highest. Because the silence can feel like absence. Because the unanswered prayers can feel like evidence that no one is listening. Do not disconnect. The silence is not absence. It is the silence of a God who is doing his deepest work in the most invisible way. Stay connected. Not because it is always easy or feels meaningful, but because the connection is the source of everything you need to get through this season and everything you will need to step into what comes next. And the fifth thing is to hold the vision. Somewhere buried beneath the discouragement and the confusion and the exhaustion of the waiting, there is a vision, a picture of what you are moving toward. A sense of who you are supposed to be and what your life is supposed to look like when the preparation is complete. That vision was placed in you by the one who designed you. It is real, it is valid, it is prophetic. Tend it, write it down, come back to it. Let it remind you on the hardest days that this season is not the end of the story, that there is more. The vision is the reason for the preparation. Keep it alive. I want to give you an image that I think will stay with you. Think about a master watchmaker sitting at a bench. On the bench before him is the most intricate, the most precise, the most extraordinary watch ever created. It has hundreds of components, each one shaped to a tolerance of fractions of a millimeter. Each one interacting with dozens of others in a choreography so complex that only the maker fully understands it. And the watch is not yet finished. Some of the components are still being shaped. Some of the gears are still being fitted. Some of the mechanisms are still being calibrated. And to anyone who looked at the bench without the watchmaker's vision, it might look like a collection of disconnected pieces, like chaos, like nothing making sense yet. But the watchmaker sees the finished watch. He has always seen the finished watch. Every piece he is shaping, every gear he is fitting, every mechanism he is calibrating. He knows exactly where it belongs. He knows exactly what the finished watch will look like, what it will do, how it will serve its purpose with a precision that takes the breath away. And he is not rushing, because a watch that is rushed into completion before every component is right does not work. But a watch completed with patience and precision and care keeps perfect time. You are that watch. God is that watchmaker. And the work being done on you right now, every component being shaped, every mechanism being calibrated, every gear being fitted into its precise place, is the work of someone who sees the finished version of you with complete clarity. You are not a collection of disconnected, confusing, going nowhere pieces. You are a masterpiece in process. And the masterpiece is almost finished. I want to close with the most important thing I will say in this entire conversation. The preparation is an act of love. I know it does not feel like love. I know that is possibly the last word you would use to describe this season. But I want you to really consider it. When someone who loves you deeply, not sentimentally, but with a love genuinely invested in your best outcome, when that person sees you heading towards something that looks good on the surface but is not yet right for you, they intervene, they redirect, they introduce a delay, not because they do not want good things for you, because they want the right things at the right time in the right way. That is what the preparation is. It is divine love intervening, redirecting, holding the door closed until you are fully ready to walk through it and carry what is on the other side. Every closed door was God saying, not yet, not because never, not because you are not worthy, but because the time is not yet right and you are not yet fully ready, and what you are going to receive is too important to give before the preparation is complete. Every delay was divine protection. Every waiting season was an act of love. And the love that has been working through every dark and confusing and painful day of this preparation is going to be fully visible when you step into what comes next and realize that everything worked together for your good. You are going to look back at this season and you are not going to feel the pain of it anymore. You are going to feel the gratitude, because you will be able to see clearly what you cannot yet see from inside it, that it was all necessary, that it was all purposeful, that it was all an act of love from the one who saw your final form before you were even formed, who knew what you were capable of before you did, who has been faithfully and patiently and precisely preparing you for the exact assignment that has always had your name on it. You are not lost. You have never been lost. You are loved. You are being prepared. And what is coming for your life is worth every moment of everything this season has asked of you. So hold on. Keep going. Trust the one who has never once been confused about where you are going, because you were never lost. You were always being led. Say this out loud right now. Wherever you are, I am not lost. I am being prepared. The delay is not punishment, it is precision. God has not forgotten me. He is preparing me. Every closed door was protection. Every dark season was formation. And what is coming for my life is worth every single day of this preparation. Say it. Say it every morning when the doubt comes. Say it every night when the questions get loud. Say it every time the comparison tries to convince you that you are behind. Say it until you believe it. Because it is the truth. It has always been the truth. You are not lost. You are being prepared. And the preparation is almost complete. This is Rise of Chosen. Rise. Always rise. Your moment is almost here. And nothing in this world can stop what God has already set in motion for your life. Nothing. Rise. But I need to keep talking to you, because there is more truth here, more that needs to be unpacked, more layers I want to lay open before you, so that when you walk out of this conversation, you walk out with something real, something that stays with you long after the words have faded. So stay with me a little longer. I want to talk about the wilderness, not the desert that Moses walked through, not the wilderness as geography, but the wilderness as experience, the wilderness as an interior landscape, the wilderness as what it feels like when everything familiar has been stripped away and you find yourself in terrain that has no map. The wilderness is not a place people choose. Nobody wakes up and says, today I will enter the wilderness. The wilderness finds you. It comes through circumstances that were not in your plan, through losses you did not anticipate, through transitions that leave you standing in unfamiliar territory with no clear sense of which direction is forward. And the wilderness is terrifying precisely because it is designed to strip everything away. In the wilderness, there is no reputation to protect because nobody is watching. There is no performance to maintain because there is no audience. There is no identity to hide behind because everything that was propping up the constructed self has been removed. In the wilderness, it is just you, raw, unfiltered, without props or armor or the comfortable distance of your roles and your routines. And that stripping is exactly the point. Because what is left when everything else is removed is what is real. What is left is the actual you, the genuine character, the true strength, the real gifts that exist not because of your circumstances but in spite of them. The wilderness does not create those things. It reveals them. You think you do not have what it takes until the wilderness shows you what you are made of. You think you are fragile until the wilderness proves you are not. You think your faith is conditional until the wilderness keeps it alive through conditions that should have killed it. The wilderness is brutal, and the wilderness is necessary, because the person who comes out of the wilderness is fundamentally different from the person who went in. More real, more grounded, more capable, more equipped, more themselves than they have ever been, and more ready for the next chapter. Now let me talk about something that I think is deeply important and rarely discussed honestly. The preparation season often involves the loss of things that seemed essential. Not just difficult things, not just things you were happy to release, but things you loved, things you prayed for, things you worked for, things that felt like they were part of the plan. Relationships, opportunities, identities, chapters of your story that felt too significant to be temporary. And when those things are taken away, it does not just hurt, it confuses. Because how do you understand a God who gives you something and then takes it away? How do you make sense of doors that open and then closed? How do you reconcile the experience of being led towards something and then having it removed before you could fully receive it? I want to give you an image that has helped me understand this. Think about a sculptor. The sculptor begins with a block of stone. And in the stone, already before a single chip has been removed, is the finished form. The sculptor can see it. The vision is complete. The final image already exists inside the unworked stone. And then the sculptor begins to work. And what does the work look like? It looks like removal. It looks like pieces falling away. It looks like the block getting smaller, losing things, being reduced. If you watch the process without knowing what the sculptor was creating, you might think the stone was simply being destroyed. You might grieve every piece that fell away. You might wonder why the sculptor kept taking things that seemed like they belonged. But the sculptor knows every piece that falls away is a piece that was never part of the final form. Every chip removed is making the hidden image more visible. Every reduction is actually a revelation. The falling away is the art. Everything you have lost in this preparation season. Every relationship that ended. Every door that closed. Every version of your future that did not come to pass. Every piece of your old identity that has fallen away. None of it was the final form. All of it was the excess stone. And what is being revealed in the removal is the real you. The essential you. The you that was always there, always the point, always the masterpiece hidden inside the unworked block. The sculptor is not destroying you. The sculptor is finding you. There is something I need to address that quietly destroys many people in preparation seasons. The lie of the permanent delay. This is the lie that says the preparation has gone on so long that it has become permanent. That the waiting is not a season with an end but a way of life without resolution. That the door is not just closed right now but closed forever. That the calling was never real or has passed its expiration date. I want to be very direct about this. That lie is exactly that, a lie. Seasons end. That is the nature of seasons. The winter is real. The cold is real. The bare trees and the frozen ground and the absence of visible life, all of it is real. But the winter is not permanent. It does not last forever. And the spring does not ask the winter's permission to arrive. It comes because it is the next season. Because that is how seasons work. Your winter is not permanent. Your preparation season has an end. And the spring that is coming, the season of emergence and expression and the fullness of everything you have been prepared for, is not less certain because the winter has been long. If anything, the longer the winter, the more spectacular the spring. The permanent delay is a lie. Do not believe it. Do not organize your life around it. Do not make permanent decisions based on what is a temporary season, because temporary is exactly what it is. Now I want to talk about something I think is vitally important and most people completely overlook in preparation seasons. The people who doubted you. Because they exist. They almost always exist. The people who looked at your preparation season and drew conclusions. Who saw the delay and called it failure. Who saw the waiting and called it laziness. Who saw the process and called it going nowhere. And being doubted by people who matter to you is a specific kind of pain. When the people you respect, whose opinions have always mattered to you, look at your preparation season and shake their heads, that lands differently. It lands in the places where your own doubt was already living. It waters the seeds of insecurity that were already planted. It gives a voice and a face to the fear that was already whispering inside you. I want you to hear something about those people. The inability to see what God is doing in your life is not evidence that God is not doing it. The people who doubted Joseph were his own brothers. The people who doubted Moses were the very people he was called to lead. The people who doubted every great figure in history were often the ones closest to them, the ones who had known them the longest, and were most attached to the version that existed before the preparation began. Proximity to someone does not give you access to God's vision for their life. And the fact that someone who knows you well cannot see what is happening in you says nothing about what is actually happening in you. It says something about the limits of human vision, nothing more. So carry the doubts of others lightly. Acknowledge the pain of being misunderstood. Let yourself feel the sting of it. But do not let it become the voice that speaks louder than the knowing inside you. Because the knowing inside you is real. It has always been real. And every person who ever doubted it was working with incomplete information. God is not working with incomplete information. He sees you completely. He knows the finished watch. And He is still at the bench, still working, still preparing. I want to speak now to the person who has been in the preparation season for a long time. Not a few months, not a year, for a long time. Maybe you have been in this season so long that you have forgotten what it felt like to be moving forward. Maybe the waiting has been so extended that you have started to wonder if you imagined the calling in the first place. Maybe the hope has gotten very quiet, not gone but quiet, like a candle that is still burning but barely. I want to speak to you directly. You have not been forgotten. I know that is easy to say and hard to believe after a long preparation season. I know that knowing God has not forgotten you does not automatically make the pain of feeling forgotten go away. But I need you to hear it anyway. You have not been forgotten. The length of your preparation is not evidence of your value to God. It is not evidence that your calling is less important or your destiny less certain. In fact, the length often correlates with the weight of what is coming. The longer the preparation, the larger the assignment, the deeper the valley, the higher the summit that follows, the more thorough the breaking, the more complete the becoming. You have been in this long because what you are being prepared for requires someone who has been prepared this thoroughly, someone who has been tested at this depth, someone who has developed the specific character and capacity and wisdom that only a long preparation can produce. The length of your preparation is not a punishment. It is a measure of the magnitude of what is coming. Hold on, not because it is easy, but because what is on the other side of this season is worth everything the preparation has cost you. Your story is not over. It is barely begun. Let me close now with something I want you to actually do. Not just feel, not just think about. Do right now. Before the inspiration fades, before the noise of the day rushes back in, write down 3 things. Write down one thing the preparation season has already taught you that you did not know before it began. One piece of wisdom, one quality of character, one truth about yourself or about God that you only have because of what this season cost you. Write it down because you need to see it. You need to hold it in your hands and acknowledge it as real, as evidence that the preparation is actually producing something, that the season is not empty. Then write down one thing the preparation season is still working on. One place inside you that you know is not yet finished. One area of your character or your faith that still needs more time. Not as condemnation, but as honest acknowledgement that the work is real and still in progress. Write it down. And then write down one thing you are going to trust God with today. One part of the timeline, one part of the outcome that you have been holding with a grip that is hurting you. Name it and then release it. Not forever, just today. Give it to the one who knows the finished watch. Those 3 things written down right now. That is how you cooperate with the preparation today. That is how you say yes to the process. That is how you move forward even when you cannot see where forward leads. There is a version of your future self that exists. A version that is on the other side of this preparation season, that has stepped through the door that is being prepared for you right now. That is living in the fullness of the calling that has been placed inside you. That version of you looks back at this season with complete understanding, with clear eyes, with a gratitude that is deep and genuine and specific. That version of you can see exactly why every closed door was mercy, exactly why every delay was protection, exactly why every detour was actually the most direct route. And that version of you would look at you right now and say, keep going. You are closer than you think. The preparation is almost complete. The door is almost ready. And what is waiting on the other side of it is everything you have been hoping for and more than you have been able to imagine. So keep going, keep trusting, keep Keep cooperating with what God is doing in you even when you cannot see it, even when you cannot feel it, even when the only evidence you have is that quiet, stubborn, unshakable knowing that this is not the end. Because it is not the end. It was never the end. You are not lost. You were never lost. You are being prepared. And what you are being prepared for is going to be worth every single day of this season. This is Rise of Chosen. Keep going. Keep trusting. Keep rising. Your moment is coming. And nothing in this world can stop what God has already set in motion for your life. Nothing. Rise. But before you go, I need to say one more thing. Because everything I have shared with you so far has been about understanding the preparation, about seeing it clearly, about recognizing what it is and what it is doing and why it is happening. But understanding is only the first step. The second step is living differently because of what you now understand. And that is what I want to walk you through now. Because the preparation season is not just something that happens to you. It is something you participate in, something you cooperate with or fight against. And the difference between a person who emerges from the preparation season equipped and ready versus someone who simply survives it is the difference between active cooperation and passive endurance. So let me be very specific about what active cooperation looks like. It looks like paying attention. The preparation season is full of information, full of data about who you are, what you need, where you are strong, where you are still weak, what you believe when everything is stripped away. All of that information is available to you, but you have to be paying attention to receive it. Most people in the preparation season are not paying attention. They are in survival mode, heads down, getting through the day, white-knuckling it from one week to the next. And that is understandable. Survival mode is real. But survival mode does not learn. And the preparation season is a classroom. So pay attention with the kind of gentle, curious, open attention that says, what is this showing me? What is being revealed here? What is this season trying to teach me that I am not yet learning? Pay attention. It will change everything. It looks like protecting your identity. One of the most insidious dangers of a long preparation season is the way it can erode your sense of who you are, when the external evidence of your calling is not yet visible, when the recognition is not yet coming, when the fruit of your gifts is not yet showing. In that vacuum, other definitions rush in. The world defines you by your current circumstances, by your job title or your income or your visible achievements. The people around you define you by the in-process version, the not yet version. And slowly, over time, you can start to accept those definitions. Do not let that happen. Protect your identity with a quiet, settled, unshakable knowing of who you actually are beneath the current circumstances. A knowing that says, this season is not my definition. This delay is not my destiny. This in-process version is not my final form. Remind yourself daily if you need to. Write it down. Say it out loud. You are who God says you are, not who your current circumstances say you are. It looks like serving where you are. One of the ways the preparation season becomes a prison rather than a school is when you spend the entire time looking ahead, waiting for the big assignment, waiting for the real thing, and missing the smaller, immediate opportunities to serve and give and contribute that are available right now. Those smaller opportunities are not separate from the preparation. They are part of it. Every time you use your gifts in the small spaces, every time you show up with excellence in the place you currently occupy, every time you serve faithfully in the season before the big one arrives, you are not just filling time, you are building capacity. You are practicing the character that the big assignment will require. The faithfulness in small things is the qualification for large ones. Serve where you are. Give what you have. Be excellent in the spaces that feel too small for you. It looks like staying soft. Long preparation seasons have a way of hardening people, of building walls around wounds that have not yet fully healed, of creating a spiritual callousness that says, I will not let myself hope again. I will not let myself be vulnerable. I will not let myself believe again. But here is what hardness does. It protects you from pain, and it also blocks you from everything else. The same walls that keep out the disappointment also keep out the joy. The same armor that protects you from being hurt again also prevents you from being fully alive. The same closed heart that refuses to hope refuses also to receive everything that the hope was reaching for. Stay soft, not naive, not careless, but soft enough to still be moved, still be surprised, still hope and believe and reach forward even after disappointment, still be fully alive to what is happening and what is coming. Because the assignment waiting for you requires a soft heart, a heart that can still feel, still be genuinely present to the human beings whose lives you are going to touch. Stay soft, even when it costs you, especially when it costs you. And finally, celebrate other people's breakthroughs. This one is genuinely hard. When you are in a preparation season and you watch other people step into theirs, when their door opens while yours is still closed, the comparison that follows can poison your spirit in ways that slow the preparation down. So here is the reframe. Someone else's breakthrough is not evidence that yours is not coming. There is no competition for divine blessing. Someone else's door opening does not close yours. Someone else's calling being expressed does not use up the resources available for yours. And people who can celebrate other people's breakthroughs with genuine joy, even from inside their own waiting season, tend to move through the preparation with more peace. Not because of some cosmic reward system, but because the spirit that can celebrate others is a spirit that is free from the fear and the scarcity thinking that slow everything down. Celebrate them generously, genuinely, because it is the posture of someone who actually believes their own breakthrough is coming. And yours is coming, I promise you. It is coming. You are not lost. You have never been lost. You are loved. You are being prepared. And the preparation, every hard, painful, confusing, fire-filled day of it, is almost complete. This is Rise of Chosen. Now rise. I want to leave you with a final image, because images stay when words fade. Pictures lodge in the mind and come back at the right moment, in the middle of the night when the doubt is loud, in the quiet of the morning when the fear rushes in before the day has even begun. So I want to give you this picture. Imagine a farmer standing in his field in the middle of winter. The ground is hard, frozen solid. Nothing is growing, nothing is visible. From the surface, the field looks barren, lifeless, like nothing is there, like nothing has ever been there, like nothing ever will be. But the farmer knows something that the surface does not show. Beneath the frozen ground, in the warmth below the frost line, there are seeds. Seeds that were planted in faith before the winter came. Seeds that have been in the dark for months. Seeds that look from the outside like nothing, like dead things in the cold. But they are not dead. They are alive, quietly, invisibly, doing the most important work of their entire existence. Sending roots down, building the infrastructure of what is going to emerge, preparing in the most hidden and silent way imaginable for the moment when the conditions change and the breakthrough becomes possible. The farmer does not dig up the seeds to check on them. The farmer does not panic because the surface looks barren. The farmer does not conclude that the seeds are lost because they cannot be seen. The farmer trusts the process. The farmer knows that the silence of winter is not the absence of life. It is the hiddenness of preparation. And the farmer knows something else. The spring is coming. Not maybe. Not possibly. Not if conditions are right, or if the seeds perform well enough, or if the winter decides to be kind. The spring is coming because that is the nature of seasons. Because that is how things work. Because the design of creation includes not just the planting and the waiting and the winter, but also the inevitable, unstoppable, breathtaking emergence that follows. You are those seeds. This preparation season is the winter, and the spring is coming for you. Not because you earned it, not because you performed perfectly in the waiting, not because your faith was always strong and your hope was always steady and your cooperation with the process was always consistent, but because God planted you. And God does not plant things He does not intend to bring to harvest. And God does not abandon His seeds in the winter. And God does not forget what is buried in the dark just because the surface looks barren. He remembers. He tends. He is at work beneath the surface in ways you cannot see from where you are standing. And when the season changes, when the conditions shift and the door opens and the moment that was always written for you finally arrives, the emergence will be complete. Not partial, not tentative, not a fragile little shoot struggling against the cold. A full and powerful and unstoppable emergence into the life that was always yours. That is what is coming. That is what the winter has been preparing. So do not give up. Do not dig up the seeds to check on them. Do not panic because the surface looks barren. Trust the farmer. Trust the process. Trust that the spring is coming. Because it is, for you. It always was. You are not lost. You were never lost. You are a seed in winter. And the spring of your life is almost here. This is Rise of Chosen. Rise. Always rise. Your moment is coming. And it is going to be more beautiful than anything the winter could have shown you. Rise.